I used to think that a wedding was the most romantic contract to sign. And then I went to law school. Oh my god. Now every time somebody says, I do, my brain says, default equitable distribution statute applies. Nobody tells ordinary people this. But the moment you sign a wedding contract, you enter a binding legal relationship, a partnership that is either on your terms if you have a prenup and if you know what to do, or on the state's terms. That may not be the most beneficial depending on your country. In today's episode, how marriage went from a business merger to a love story in just about 150 years. Why the most unromantic document that you can bring to a wedding may actually be the most productive, efficient, and protective one. Let's start with the deeply boring legal truths. Marriage is a contract, okay? This is what we have to understand. This is a legal and financial institution that has nothing to do with feelings, okay? First of all, let's get that. It's basically a financial merger with a dress code. All right. Getting married automatically changes everything in your life legally. How you do taxes, how you spend your money, how you buy property, how you own a business. And now you have to think about every single thing because your financial future is fully dependent on that. And almost none of that requires your deep consent when you enter. You have to read everything, you have to know everything, but it's automatically enrolled if you want to get married. For example, in the US, there are 2 systems. 9 of them divide everything 50-50 if you get divorced. But in the majority of systems, it's more about how fair it is. It's a little bit hard to understand. In the country where I'm from, you just divide everything. Even if it's a business, unless it was an inheritance or a gift. In the US, the judge has to weigh all those factors that contribute to it, like unpaid labor, like childcare, etc., which is actually a great idea. Other than the fact that human factor is in there, the judge's opinions are very much affecting this thing, and it's very hard to really define fair. So how did we get this system historically? Until the mid-1800s, English and American common law ran on one idea, that a woman's full legal identity gets absorbed the moment she gets married. She could own property, sue somebody, act like a plaintiff in court, anything. That started cracking in 1839 when Mississippi passed the first Married Women's Property Act. New York followed in 1848, and this became a template for basically everybody. See how that's not ancient history? That's like younger than the Eiffel Tower. And here's also a twist that nobody considers in the modern era. Historian Stephanie Coons showed in her research that across centuries, marriage has nothing to do with romantic feelings. It organized property, labor, and political alliances between families. Marrying for love, like this notion, just emerged in the 18th century but didn't become as prominent until the 19th and 20th centuries. Accidentally, at the same time when women started having rights to own things rolled out. Nobody treats it as serious as this and as one of the most important partnerships that you will ever make, not on the feeling spectrum, but on the business spectrum, because everything that you do is going to be decided by who you decide to marry. Let me tell you something, the wedding industry is a scam. The flowers, the arrangement, the guests, and the design, everything is very nice and also very distracting from what you really are going to accomplish with this act. You think about your wedding so much that you don't really care about your marriage, what is actually in your prenup, or in the government regulation if you think that a prenup is humiliating for your husband. Let's move on to the good news. Prenups are actually becoming really popular. For people that don't know, prenups are marriage agreements where you define the terms of your marriage. And now, over 52% of women initiate the prenup conversation themselves, without a lawyer, without parents, without their friends. Women are doing the math on their futures, and we're here for it. So if the data is right there, why do people ignore it? Because of a myth that we've been marinating in since childhood, that real love is forever, that you only love one person, that humans are completely monogamous, and in real love, people don't cheat, people don't do anything bad, you will love each other forever, and you will be happy and there for each other all the time, especially if you have kids. Oh my God, that's going to consolidate your bond even further. It doesn't work that way. If you love me, then you don't have to want a contract. So you think you're going to divorce me? You're going to use me? That we don't need a prenup, you still have a contract. Marriage is a contract, you know? Prenup is just something that you decide, while normal marriage, whatever, is a contract that the state decides and you have no say in it. Maybe we should start caring about what's going to happen in our lives. No, like I remember a situation where I heard a man manipulate the girl saying that he's going to divorce her because she made him sign a prenup. And he wouldn't do that if she didn't, because it humiliated him. Oh my God, so sad. Love and marriage are completely different things. Both are valid, both exist, 2 completely different things. It's like being a friend and being a business partner. You can be friends with your business partners, or you can be in simply business partner relationship, and both can work. Marriage is legally exactly a merger. Nothing else. It's exactly a merger. Maybe some additional rights. That just looks aesthetic because it has the Hollywood fantasy around it. But I'm saying that it's two different questions. Do I want to build a life with this person? Or do I want to merge finance with this person? Because it's not always the same. In my culture, we have the legal marriage recognized before the state. We have the religious marriage. But the religious marriage is not really treated seriously. Most people don't care about it. Whatever. I always say that if you know that this person is not reliable, just get a religious marriage and be happy about it. You don't have to go register. If you know this company is going to make you broke, if you know that you will have to pay for their debt all the time, maybe don't take that commitment. And now let me tell you something that's probably going to offend half of you. I believe that the love idea is actually misogynistic. It's sexist, really. This is where I stop reporting stats and actually make my argument. Don't come with me with sources. Come with me with opinions if you want debate, okay? Here's my case. The love marriage thing was sold to women just to upgrade their position. You're not a property anymore. You can marry for feelings. If you're marrying for love now, you should stop caring about material things or you're a gold digger. Because if you don't, then that means that you don't believe in love. Roughly 1 out of 6 women struggle with financial abuse. And financial abuse is not just financial dependence. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being in control of somebody's bank account. I'm talking about taking debt on somebody else's name. It's so sweet that he takes care of everything. This is a fairy tale for God knows who. So how do we actually approach marriage then? Scientifically, financially, and legally. You have to know if you love the person, that's great. If you don't, that's great. If you know that this person is somebody that you will be able to spend your life with, this is the decision that you have to make. I'm not a person that can give you relationship advice. I can only tell you the legal part of things or the financial part of things. Firstly, prenups are great. Unless you know that you're 20, you have nothing of your own, the person has nothing of their own, and you know that you're going to build together, cool, don't do that. But if you want to protect yourself and protect the other person from your debt, consider doing that. Consider writing that, especially if you're a woman, try to protect yourself. If somebody calls you a gold digger, run, okay? You don't have to adhere to the stereotype of real equality, where the woman wakes up, she feeds her kids, she goes to work, she comes back, she feeds her kids, probably feeds her husband, and that's it. Her life is generally harder because she's physically different. By the way, women are physically different. I want to actually film a video on this. If you're interested, tell me. I want to calculate the economic problems related to the physical differences between men and women. Treat marriage like buying a house, like buying a huge house, like starting the most important business of your life, like merging companies. And then so that you can focus on what really matters and not on designing and not on begging your husband to give you some money or try to stop him from taking yours. By the way, I'm a law student, so if you're interested in things like this, where I talk about things that really important to me and I try to make economic concepts as simple as possible and address those, I'll be more than happy to have you on my road to 2,000 subscribers. So like the video if you're mentally dropped on your own prenup. I would love to have you here. I promise you're gonna get it.